Hi, good morning. In this video, I am going to talk about the science and technology and expansion of knowledge. Throughout the long span of history, most view of the world were spirituals and mythological kind. However, the human being also began developing tools to master the nature around them. So the development of modern science was of tremendous long-term significance. In earlier civilization, people developed practical tools, system, and technology for managing civilization they had built up. So last year of 15th century and the early year of 16th century laid the foundation of modern worldview. So there was an intellectual shift when idea about the nature and society is transforming. So this period coincidence with phenomenal advance in geographical knowledge and technology. So while scientists were challenging many established nations about the universe and human autonomy, so other Europeans making extensive reconsistency about the way the development is going on. So preliminary explorations of the whole earth, it is full with the arguments regarding the Renaissance in the early 14th century in the Europe that time. So how did the revelations have come in the science and technology? The scientific revelations exactly usually take signify the contrast with superstitious irrationality that is presumed to have in cultural and intellectual signature of the Middle Age. So the seed of the scientific revelations sprouted in the form of enlightenment and the bourgeoisie ideology of age of capital, which established the region as the motor and measures of historical changes. So everything was to be submitted to the national critical scientific way of thinking. A second important enlightenment concept was the scientific method was capable of discovering the law of nature as well as those of human society. So this gave birth to the social science and the third key idea that progress linked to the applicability of scientific thinking to human existence and followed. So in this unit, our objective to make you aware about the role of new perceptions of universe that emerged around 16th and 17th century. These new perceptions called scientific revelations modules many institution of period, and these new perceptions mainly influence the European society and change its intellectual world. So the unit will focus on many of the changes in outlook and behavior. Apart from the various advances in the field of knowledge during the transitions from medieval time to modernity, you will also learn about the beginning of new methods of experimentations, observation, and interpretation used by the man of science, how science and its methods were institutionalized. Moreover, we will also try to explore the relationship between science and technology and society in Western world and its implications about the new world order and emerge with advent of modernity. Scientific legacy of earlier period when we talk about many development in astronomy and physics were at the core of scientific revolutions. We can trace the legacy of the intellectual current in the traditional European idea about the universe. Arab scientists such as Averroes played a key role in the scientific during the Middle Age, not only throughout the contributions, and they also have the immense contribution by 12th and 13th century about how a scientific temperament can bring in the Europe itself. So we can talk about that there is adaptations of Greek model of science, Arabic model of science is supposed to be coming in the Europe by the end of 13th century. Universities is receiving a social support because the educated and trained such professionals in diverse area such as lawyer, doctors, and church leader. The emergence of modern science was not an accident. The man of science built their paradigms upon the idea of ready source. So, however, the church dominated the Western world. Other ideas were brought into the harmony with official Christian doctrines. So, according to the prevalent notion of the medieval university, the motionless earth was fixed. at the center of the universe, and 10 separate transparent crystal spheres move around it. So the moon, the sun, the five no planet, and the fixed stars were embedded in the first eight spheres. So two more spheres were added during the Middle Age and account to slight changes in the position of the star over the centuries. So beyond the 10th spheres was heaven, and with the throne of God and the soul a soul of the saved. So, world turned outside in advance in astronomy. So, the Copernicus and Tycho and the Keplers were three learned men who introduced the revolutionary changes in the way the contemporary society perceived the world. So, they provided new insight about the Earth and the universe through their work in the area of astronomy. Astronomy was an old science and patronized because it was believed that the celestial body influenced the kingdom and the human life. As a result of such belief, the search of the position of planet and a star in the sky become an important area of study. So the Copernicus clung to the Aristotelian idea of crystalline spheres and the idea that a star hung on the other spheres, but he was not fully convinced because the observed fact failed to fit in the theory. He therefore tried to figure out his fact from the different perspectives. He thought that the sun, not the earth, might be the center. Still, the observed fact that did not quite fit with the new hypothesis. But it came lot of closures than any other idea or put forward earlier. So the Tycho scheme against put Earth back in the center of things, and he collected the massive data bank of observation to prove his point. So his honest and careful observation did not validate his claim, but his massive data was later utilized by the Kepler's theory. So the Kepler believed that exactly the God is ultimate supreme authority, but God don't have any role in the scientific temperament. And whatever the church's deliverance is completely wrong. So there is a Copernicus saying the heavenly body supposed to be come in the center, and we talk about the earth have the revolutions just in the axis, and it rotate around the sun, not the sun rotate around the earth. So but contribution of the Catholics is not supposed to be highlighted as he was just alive. After his death, we see there is immense contributions in them. We can also talk about the Tycho Brahe observing the stars and the greatest astronomers in that time. So he talked about the how the Danish scientists helped them to do it, and the star counting. It is also big. Now we can talk about the elliptical orbit of the John Allen Kepler's and the whatever the way the discussing the Kepler's methods. Now we can experimental methods has also introduced many institutions of the science was supposed to be formed at times. Major scientific advance we can see in that time period in the life cycles in the post-reformations period, like physics and mechanics, engineering is also introduced. Dialogue on the two chief system of the world is supposed to be introduced. Isaac Newton contributions we see in 1642 to 1727, and who gave the idea of gravity. Now the life science, you can talk about the life science on the fabric of human body, and we can talk about the Andrzej Vesseles, who is talking about the life science and the body, doctors and medicines. Some interpretations of the scientific revelations we can have in the different way. The origin of scientific revolutions been keenly debated by the historians of science and other scholars is discussing development of tools and methods toward the better the source of powers we talk about. And finally in conclusions, there are a lot of scientific experiments have come in that time period. So we cannot say that it is a rarely is a renaissance. It is a temperament of the scientific revolutions and the scientific experiment in that time period. Thank you to watch it. Hi, good morning, everyone.